my sight later. Do not get distracted. Let's come back to the pyramid. Well, okay, the blood vessels wash. All of this, of course, is wonderful. But the main question is, why does the banker live better than worker? We still have no answer. So what that he has blood vessels? Shall we give him cash bonus for that or vouchers for enhanced diet? I, for example, build houses or bake bread. It is also very important. Does he work harder than me? No. Then why does he live better? And one small question in addition. I've been working and working like a damned for public benefit from morning to night. But anyway, I can't pay off the loans. And all of my friends are in the same situation. Is this normal? It is obviously wrong and unfair. This is eternal credit bondage. But whom do I owe the money to? I owe money to banks, to these blood vessels, washing all and everything. Fuck them all. I don't need this fucking washing. In short, they make fools of us. That's all. As usual, bankers take advantage of the fact that we, simple hard workers, don't have time to figure out all these tricky schemes. We have to feed our families. That's why they take advantage of this situation and ride on our backs, bastards. So don't tell me about blood vessels. We know these vessels. Just give me the gun and Easy, stay calm. And let's figure this out together, okay? Calmly and slowly. But I warn you that I have to strain your brains. It's not easy to unravel in a couple of minutes those things which have been tangled during the centuries by the best sophisticated minds of mankind. But we will try. At least we will show something visually, something from the life of modern banks. We will demonstrate everything on the live example, so to speak. You'll enjoy. So imagine the following quite unusual situation, and watch my hands. Let it be a Nick and Jane, and let it be a Mr. Smith, a banker of Nick and Jane. They both keep their money in his bank. That's why we use the title Mr. Smith, with respect. Nick really wants to buy, well, let's say Jane's bicycle, but he has no money. More precisely, he has money, but not enough, only $10, while Jane wants $100 for her precious bicycle. That's a problem. What should Nick do? Well, this bicycle is so desirable. He gives Jane his $10 as a deposit and asks plaintively not to sell the bike to anyone. He says that he will bring the rest of the money soon. At the same time, he runs to his bank, to the respected Mr. Smith, to get a loan for the missing $90. As ill luck, Mr. Smith has no money at this moment, but he knows perfectly about $10, which Nick gave to Jane. And where will Jane bring his money to? That's right. She will put these $10 in her lovely bank to the same Mr. Smith. Therefore, Mr. Smith asks Nick to come back tomorrow in the hope that tomorrow he will get these $10. And everything happens this way. The next day, Jane brings $10 to the bank. The bank provides Nick these $10 on credit. Nick immediately gives them to Jane. She again puts them in a bank. The bank again provides Nick these $10 on credit, etc. As long as Nick the fool will gather enough money for the bicycle. Don't you get confused yet? Be patient, I told you. These demons have been trying to confuse you during 1,000 years. These damn economists and financiers. But anyway, we will figure everything out. So what do we have in the end? Nick finally got the bike from Jane. Wow! But at the same time, Nick owes $90 to the bank, Mr. Smith, and the bank, in its turn, owes $100 to Jane. In other words, those $10, which existed initially, have magically turned into $200, $190 of debts plus real $10. But these $10 would also turn into $1,000, even in $1 million or $1 billion, if Nick would make a more expensive purchase. In this case, our $10 would make the increasing number of its cycles, circuits from hands to hands. That's it. So, what happens in today's world? SOS!
It appears that banks also make money out of thin air and multiply them. Not only Fed can produce money, but banks either. In short, everybody can do this, except you and me. We are not in the business at this celebration of life. I would like to print or draw some money as well. In fact, these banks multiply money without any control. And we're still wondering why the banker lives better. What are naive fools are we? Now it is clear why. The one who produces the money, of course, lives better. But this is not enough. From this moment, poor Nick will never be able to repay his debts owed to the bank, no matter how hard he would work. Silly Nick doesn't know it yet, that he's in slavery to the bank, in credit bondage forever, because those $90 which he owes to Mr. Smith do not exist in nature at all. Sly Mr. Smith made his money out of nothing. He created them out of thin air, just one click. And $10 turned into $200. Yes, but you can object reasonably that the bank itself owes $100 to Jane, and it turns out that bank is in credit bondage to Jane, and it won't be able to repay its debts owed to Jane either. So where's the bank's profit? What's the trick? Ha! You ask what the trick is. The trick is in the fact that bank has a lot of such Janes, thousands and millions, and they will never come for their money all at once. If one Jane comes, the bank will return her the money of 10 other depositors. That's it. It means that the bank's debt is dangerous and not burdensome. In fact, bank's debt is virtual. It exists only on the paper or in the computer program. It will never be repaid in reality, only in case a panic hit happens, when frightened depositors suddenly will come for their money all at once. Or maybe, do you know any other reason why banks go bankrupt from time to time? Here's why. Because there are not enough money for all depositors. There is 90% of thin air in the bank vaults. Just a lilac fog. Thus, bank is okay. It blooms and smells. We don't need to worry about it. But our Nick has serious problems now. He has to repay all the debts owed to the bank, completely, with interest and penalties. You know this. He will be forced to take a new credit in order to repay the old one. Then again, the new loan, and again, endlessly, until his death. There is no way out of this credit running knot. It does not exist in principle. That's it. Trap slam. Now Nick is perpetual debtor of bank. He is a slave. From now on, he will work for bank until he dies. But he still won't repay his debts. After his death, his children and grandchildren will work for this bank. They all are future slaves of the bank. More precisely, they are slaves of this monstrous and cannibalistic global financial system, which spawned this ruthless and inhumane mechanism which must be destroyed finally. Financial apocalypse. It can break our financial chains and can save all of us. It can finally release us from centuries of slavery. All the old will be burned completely in purifying flame of apocalypse, and the new will be established. The Federal Reserve will be burned, and the wind of change will dispel the ashes of this damned insatiable octopus, spider, enmeshed the whole world with its sticky financial nets. Banks in their current form will be razed to the ground. They do not wash anything. Do not believe this bullshit. They bring death to all living things. They suck our blood. Banks are parasites on the healthy body of the society. Mites inflated from our blood. They are voracious and insatiable leeches, clung tightly to us. What do they actually do useful? Do they give loans at their extortionate interest? Actually, why do banks charge you interest on loans? Have you ever thought about it? Usury has always been condemned and despised at all times and among all nations. And now it is the norm. An entrepreneur gets a bank loan. For what do they charge interest on? He wants to create something useful for the society, for the whole society, including the bankers. He has to be encouraged and given privileges for that, instead of stripping off 3 skins from him. But today's banks were created not for that. The interests of the society are not important for them. Banks take care only about their own financial profits and benefits. They don't care about the people. Today's banks are faithful servants of the Federal Reserve. They are greedy and avid bloodsuckers, small ghouls in the service of a giant and evil monster.